Hey guys, I am Rohit Chaturvedi and today I got an opportunity to talk on the topic that is called stress and rhythm. And I believe it is one of the most vital topic to discuss for the proficiency on language as well as communication skills. So let's get started. Introduction. Stress is an important feature of English pronunciation, and to become a powerful communicator of English, one needs proficiency while using different stress pattern in his communication. Stress. What does it mean? Stress is the force placed on a word in speaking to make the meaning clear in many sentences. When you say some words with more force and other with less force, English has a stress sounds on the main words such as verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. Stress is the degree of force with which a syllable or a word is uttered. It is also defined as the degree of prominence a syllable has. What is word stress? In English, we do not say each syllable with the same force or strength. In one word, we accentuate one syllable. We say one syllable very loudly, like big, strong, important, and all the other syllables very quietly. So let's take an activity. Let's take three words: photograph, photographer, and photographic. Do they sound the same when spoken? I don't think so, because we accentuate one syllable in each word and it is not always the same syllable. So the shape of each word is different, like photograph, photographer, and photographic. In first pho, in the second to, and third graphic, we are stressing more. This happens in all words with two or more syllables, like teacher, Japan, China, above, conversation, interesting, important, demand, etc. The syllables that are not stressed are weak or small or quiet. Native speakers of English listen for the stressed syllable, not the weak syllables. If you use word stress in your speech, you will instantly and automatically improve your pronunciation and your comprehension. Try to hear the stress in individual words each time you listen to English on the radio or in the films. For example, your first step is to hear and recognize. After that, you can use it. There are two very important rules about word stress. One word, one stress. One word cannot have two stresses. So if you hear two stresses, you have heard two words, not one word. The stress is always on a vowel. Why stress is crucial in English? The most important. Stress is crucial in English pronunciation. It can be called a grammatical device in English. A part of the meaning of a word depends on stress. It serves to mark the function of words in spoken English. Why is stress important? So we can say word stress is not used in all languages. Some languages like Japanese or French, for example, pronounce each syllable with equal emphasis. Other languages, English for example, use word stress. Word stress is not an optional extra that you can add to the English language if you want. It is a part of the language. English speakers use word stress to communicate rapidly and accurately, and even in difficult conditions. If, for example, you do not hear a word clearly, you can still understand the word because of the position of the stress. Now we'll discuss about the levels of stress. There are mainly two kinds of level: primary level and secondary level. First discuss primary level or primary stress. The syllable with the primary stress is the loudest and the longest syllable in a word. It has a very noticeable change in pitch on the vowel. In one syllable word, that one syllable gets the primary stress. Example, blue. Secondary stress, these are the syllables that are stressed but not as much as the primary stress. So they are loud and long with a change in pitch, but not as loud or as long as the syllables that get the primary stress. The change in the pitch on the vowel is not quite as noticeable. Example, disappear. Disappear. You can notice the change in the syllable. Various stress patterns. Stress in English words varies from word to word. In some words, stress falls on the first syllable, while in other words, it falls on the second, third, or fourth syllable. Now we'll discuss words stressed on first syllable. Here I had prepared a table for clarification. So in first column you can see two syllable words like husband, stomach, dozen, stupid, splendid. In second column, three syllable words, that is literature, character, advertise, industry, atmosphere. And longer words are aristocrat, benefactor, comprehension, melancholy, pomegranate. Word stressed on second syllable. In the first column we have two syllable word narrate, balloon, begin, drawee, rupee. Three syllable word we have appendix, efficient, develop, saliva, antenna, and in longer words we have participant, ridiculous, responsible, appreciate, rhinoceros. Word stressed on the third syllable. In the first column we have three syllable word guarantee, cigarette, engineer, correspond. In the second column we have application, opposition, apparatus, correspondence. And in the third column we have five syllable word that is irreproachable, irresponsible, satisfactory, irrepressible, and electricity. Now we will land on the topic that is called rhythm. Rhythm is the regular periodic reoccurrence of certain patterns of color, design, or sound. The pattern you perceive in speech or poetry as a result of repetition at regular intervals of prominent elements such as stressed syllables. In language of world, rhythm is of two types. It is mainly of two types. That is first syllable time rhythm and stress time rhythm. So let's discuss syllable time rhythm. The time taken to move one stressed syllable to the next is generally in proportion to the number of unstressed syllables between them. And in stress time rhythm, stressed syllables have a tendency to occur at roughly intervals of time. Influence of stress on rhythm in English. Rhythmic grouping correlates with a stressed syllable followed by unstressed syllable up to the next stressed syllable but not including it. For example, I want to go to Delhi tomorrow. I want to go to the Delhi tomorrow. Tell him to go to the market. You can notice rhythmic group indicated by the vertical lines. Owing to the same number of unstressed syllables in each utterances, the rhythmic beat is fairly regular and gives the impression that all English utterances must have a regular rhythm. Example, what name shall I ask for? You can always find me at this address. The greater the number of contained word in an utterances, the greater the number of stressed syllables it is likely to have. In connected speech, stress is much freer and is largely determined by the meaning the speaker intends to convey. If the meaning requires it, content words may be unstressed and structure words may be stressed. Example, if your hands and feet are warm, the whole body will be warm. So we can conclude the adjective warm is as stressed in the first part of the utterances, but when it occurs a second time in the utterance, it is generally unstressed. Even though it is a content word, when a word is repeated, it does not add any meaning to the utterance. Another feature closely linked with the characteristic rhythm of English are mainly referred to as forms, like weak forms, contracted forms, and strong forms. The way a grammatical word is pronounced when it is unstressed, that is called weak forms. For example, a book, an apple. Contracted forms. In some form of words, the severely reduced forms of auxiliary verbs such as is, are, have, has, had, will, and would are often attached to the preceding subject or pronoun or noun. Like he plus is become his, he plus will become he'll, they plus would become date. Strong forms. The way a grammatical word is pronounced when it is stressed as opposed to the weak form it assumes when unstressed. For example, how could he do it? How could he do it? That's all. Thank you all of you.